Hi, I'm Colin and welcome to How to Paint Watercolours. So if you're ready, we'll get started and we'll paint this one. Hello everybody and welcome back to Painting Watercolours with me, Colin. I've chosen to do this one today and it's actually from an old sketchbook from many years ago. As you can see, it's all sellotaped together and we'll do a combination of the two, but I probably won't put the bushes in the background. But we used parts of the sky, which is basically the same. So I'll give you a quick run round of the colours. We have cadmium yellow, we have Naples yellow, cobalt blue, French ultramarine, Indian red, burnt umber, cobalt violet and a touch of neutral tint. And with that we'll get started. I'm going to take some of the Naples yellow and I'm going to drop this in. I've re-wet the paper, stretched it both sides. I'm going to produce a light, sort of airy summer sky. So I'm going to drop some Naples yellow in along here, allow it to come into the land, combining both the land and the sky. Touch of the cadmium yellow just to brighten one or two areas. Brushed iron. All nice and wet, allowing it to flow. Bring some of this cadmium yellow as well into the land area. I'm going to take some of the cobalt violet with a touch of neutral tint in it just to grey it. I'm going to drop this in as well. I'm just going to create some shapes with this. Add a little water to it here and there just to give you some light and dark patches. Take some cobalt blue with some of the neutral grey. Don't be frightened of using water. Leave some white patches. Take a little bit more of the neutral tint. I'm going to add some French ultramarine to that. Now you must remember this will dry at least 20% lighter, so this is going to be a very light sky. I bring a little Naples yellow down here with a touch of the cadmium yellow. Just getting the colour on. I have dried the pond off. And then with a kitchen towel, I'm just going to remove the tops of some, to just roll it through the sky. Just let it lift small patches and lines out. Then in certain areas, I just want to re-drop in some water and allow this to push the other colour away. Trying to resist the urge to fiddle. Just a little touch of the cobalt violet, just for a little different shade, just mixed in with that lot there. Just adding little bits of shadow. And it's knowing when to stop, and I'm going to stop there and I'm going to let this dry. Now that that's dry, and when I say dry, the paper is still slightly damp, but the paint is fixed. I've just raised the board up because I'd like a little drift on this. And what we're going to do, I'm going to paint this background hill in. Like I said before, sometimes a watercolour can be a bit like layering a cake. That's the water on. I'm going to take some of the cadmium yellow, move it in here, and I want a bluey green. And I'm going to put this on very thin and allow this to drift down through the water. And I just want to drop a tiny bit cadmium yellow where the sun shines coming through the hills. And just work that in. Just adds a little bit of variance to it. Cadmium yellow once again, some cobalt blue to make a very, very pale green. And because this is set further back, I want to make a lighter colour, and I want to put some of the foliage on these trees. This is the outside edge, and I'm just using the tip of the brush, almost like a May green. You've seen me put this on with a mop brush before now, but for this I'm just using the tip of the brush. Take some more blue, cobalt blue for this one, making an extra green. I'm going to take some of the neutral tint because it's in the sky. And I don't mind this running into the other colour. Trying to leave some of the other colour to show through. Cobalt blue, dark and neutral tint, not too much on the brush. You can start to put the underside of this foliage in. And then I'm going to leave that to dry. I'm going to put the foliage in on the other tree, so I'm going to take some of the cadmium yellow with just a tiny bit of cobalt blue in it. I want this to be quite bright. And into that cadmium yellow, I'm going to drop some French ultramarine. Just to create a brighter green. I'm going to allow this to drop in here. It's a slightly different shade than this because this is set further back, so I'm going to make this a little bit brighter. Some more French ultramarine. With some neutral tint for a nice real dark colour. Very dark green. Come to this background once again here. I want the land to separate a little bit, as to show different hills or different plains. Add a little bit more yellow into that. Bring that forward slightly and take some of the deeper colour. With the water being on the paper, you'll end up with a lighter tone once it's dried. Gently pull this through it, but leaving some of the underlying wash to show through. And then you can let that dry. Now that that's all dry, I've just re-wet all the way around the pond, some clean water. I'm just finishing that off, and I'm going to take some of the yellow into here again. I'm going to drop some of this in and pull it down with the fall of the land. Just through the trees, just so that gets a little bit darker. Darker on the shoreline for where the water is. Just giving the land a little shape. Drop some burnt umber into that. Maybe there's a little bit of dirt along the edge here. Just adds more interest to your green. Pull some of this back. Give my arm, I want to pull some of this back up the hill. I'm going to let that dry. Now that your land is dry, we'll take some of this colour up here and just darken it with a little bit of neutral tint again. And we can start to put some branches in and some tree trunks on this background tree, just adding structure to everything. Take a little water and just add this to the tree trunk here. Taking some of the same colour, I'm just going to drop this in. Bottom. The water just helps spread the colour about. And into that I'm going to take some Indian red and drop this into the tree trunk. Along the bottom, a little bit more neutral tint into that. And I'm just going to pull a root out here. You see how that looks like it's not attached to the ground, it looks like it's been stuck on. Take a little damp brush. What you can do is just add some water to it, pull this round, just touch the edge and allow it to feather out. You can attach your trees to the ground. Just softening it in. I'm going to take some clean water. I'm going to add it to the pond. I'm going to take a little bit of the Naples yellow. Horizontal strokes. Take a little bit of the cadmium yellow because it is in the sky. Take some of the cobalt blue. Take some of the neutral tint. there, so I'm going to drop some cobalt violet in. I want some of the French ultramarine into that as well. And through the trees here, I'm going to remove some paint and create a little bit of a light shimmer. Just a mixture of all colours here now. And I'm just going to drop a reflection in and allow this to spread. A little bit of green in the water as a reflection of the land. And then once your water's in, we can just put a few blades of grass in. We'll take some of that colour. And just soften some of this in. Say you can decide how many of these you want to put in. Say there's other things you could do with this. You could put trees in the background, bushes and so forth, but for this it's just a pond and the trees really. Maybe we can have a couple of birds in the sky. And this is where you can get to sign it, mount it and frame it. Like I say, I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please leave a comment. Comments are always welcome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching.